Yeah.
All right, and the next topic we're going to talk about is the debate, which has broke many viewer records on the. Well, I mean, I think for most people watch it on TV, but for me, I watched it on the internet, and I watched it with some of my favorite content creators. How about you, MC? How'd you watch it, and what are your thoughts? Quick thoughts.
Old school way, man. I just turned on the TV and just watched.
Yeah. Yeah, that's there's still a place for TV land. So, but ever since the debate, there's been, um, well, real quick, MC, who do you think won the debate?
I think they both lost the debate, honestly, and I think
Hmm.
for the most part it was a waste of time. Um, by now, the only people you're going to sway are the independents and the undecideds.
Hmm.
And I think most of them have already, we're too close to November for anybody to change their minds. I'm honestly more excited about watching the VPs go at it because I
Yeah,
don't know enough about either one of them.
that's a good
But
point. I forgot about them.
yeah, so what I will say is this. I watched that debate for three very specific reasons. There were some questions, there were two questions I wanted to Kamala to answer,
Hmm.
her flip flopping on things like fracking, and how does she differ from what we have in office right now because she's a part
Right.
of that same administration. She did not answer either one of those questions for me. And then with Trump, I was kind of looking to see he was asked, "Do you have any January 6th regrets?" And that's always
Hmm.
been my biggest thing with him.
Hmm.
Whether he admits it or not, these people were doing it in his name. Now, whether
Yeah.
he authorized it or not or supported it, that's a different conversation. But I wonder if he does have any regrets because a lot of things went bad that day, including a cop that was killed. And the Republicans are supposed to be the party of the police. We're not talking
The
about that enough.
Real quick, the cop. There wasn't a cop killed that day. And I'm doing ABC moderator fact check on the fly. So no cops were killed that day. There was the woman that was killed. I think her name was Ashley Babbitt. Is it? But she was the only one that was killed that day. And that story. It's hard for me to like figure out like because I've heard what Trump has said. I've heard what other people have said, and so unfortunately, bad place, wrong time is how I saw it. But no cops were killed that day. Now, I think some people
I
might
stand
equate.
corrected because they did I did. As soon as you fact checked me, I looked it up real quick. The Capitol Police themselves did release a statement saying that he died of natural causes,
Right.
but they started to kick in while he was in the line of duty. So I stand corrected.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but a lot of people actually think that though. That's the crazy thing is because um, when it came to like the whole January 6th, there's a lot of information out there that was suppressed, and a lot of people didn't see. And I'm not trying to convince people about the whole January 6th. Honestly, if you however you feel about it is how you're going to feel about it. And so people should really look at like I mean all the information is out there. If you want to like dig into it or you want to use Chat GPT for regular people that know nothing about January 6th that want to find out about it, they can look into it. But with everything else that's going on, like especially what's going on in Ohio, and then we'll get back to the debate. But I mean, people got way bigger fish to fry, and considering some of the other what the Democrats would call insurrection stuff that's going on with the pro Gaza movement. That stuff should have been all over the news for what they consider January 6th. That is January 6th times two, and maybe even three. BLM was the BLM riots, when there multiple buildings, and especially Tim Walz's city when he ran and hide. Um, you know that city burned down, or part of it burned down, I guess. But that was another January 6th type of situation that people just do not talk about. And so, when people look into some of these things when it comes to like, Trump this and or how they feel about Trump and the whole January 6th, I don't know what answer he can honestly give that people are going to be satisfied with, whether you're in the middle or if you're on the Democratic side, or if you are liberal. I don't know what answer he could actually give. So
I don't neither, but and despite the correction that you just gave me on my information, I was still wanted to see him answer that question because
yeah,
at the end of the day, it was an invasion of a congressional building. They
sure, yeah.
claim to be doing it in his name, and I just want to hear him I do want to hear if he did have any regrets. Even if he says I don't have any, I still
Yeah,
want to hear his answer.
yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I'll give Kamala this credit. I think one thing about Trump is he is a man of confidence.
Hmm.
And one thing that I've learned is most people don't know how to deal with men of confidence. I think her strategy initially was to come out and quote unquote go at his ego a little bit,
Hmm.
which I don't know. It was somewhat effective, I guess,
It's a good strategy. That's what they
yeah.
say to beat. If you want to beat him, go at his ego or get
But
him
I
off
have
his.
concerns with that because here's the kicker. If you come out aggressive as a woman or assertive, right? And
Mhm.
let's say you come at a man like that and he returns that same energy that she's giving him. Typically what happens if we're keeping it 100 is most women when they get that same energy back are going to go back into their, oh, well, I'm just a woman, why are you treating me like this type of thing.
Yeah,
And that is one of my overall concerns with her being a president too. She gonna get the smoke
yeah.
verbally
She
when she's
should.
in office.
Public figure. Yeah,
You can't hide behind being a woman. You wanted this. You got to take all this smoke that you about to get. And I question if she can handle something like that.
yeah, yeah. No, I would agree too because if you are going to be the president or you're going to run for that position, everything you got to be okay with everything. It's not going to be it's not going to be a conversation where are we going to be able to like they said this about me or this was this isn't true and how dare you say insert DEI situation like black woman straight or what was I going to say gay or whatever like those are the things that people tend to use when they don't want to answer a question or they want to silence you so
Yeah. And I might be going off a little tangent here, but I tell this to any woman who argues with me about Kamala. And I just simply say, make up your mind. Are you guys these precious gems that we're supposed to protect
mhm,
and provide for, or are we gonna be equal? You got to decide because it can't be both.
right
Whichever one is gonna be, if you want to go with this equality stuff, she gonna get the same smoke that Joe Biden got. She gonna get the same smoke that Donald Trump got. If it's this women are precious gems that need to be protected and taken care of, then I think we should say she shouldn't be running for
yeah.
president. So two different conversations.
Yeah, so for me, initially, I wanted to see Trump just. I was under the framing. I was under the thinking that Trump had nothing to lose in this. He was in the driver's seat, and Kamala had to like blow it out of the park. Like just I don't know what she could have done, and she may have won some headlines because um, the moderators were definitely on her side. She had some connections not only with the ABC moderators, but she had connections with the and a high ranking executive over at ABC. So, oh wait, was it on ABC or was it
It was
NBC?
it was ABC.
Okay, ABC. All right. So she's got some she got some pull over there, and I'm sure they don't want to have a have a situation where they are giving any favorable treatment to Trump, which would be, if you just call it down the middle, like they did with like CNN did, and CNN actually didn't have to do anything, which Trump definitely shined in that one because Trump didn't have to say too much because Biden was digging himself a hole,
Yeah.
and that was really what he needed to do in this situation because he initially started off really strong. And then, once it became clear that the moderators are on Kamala's side and Kamala's redirecting, or they're, on the side of Kamala, like redirecting, like, hey, how do you feel about this, Trump? Like, you can definitely tell that Trump was definitely feeling the heat on that stuff because, it's 3 versus 1. Like, nobody, I mean, not even the best, debater couldn't win those type of situations and there was zero fact checking on Kamala's side. So for anyone that,
None.
you know, I don't care if like Trump had like 30 to 100 or whatever. At the end of the day, how many did Kamala have? I mean, you tell me zero, especially on the fracking, especially on the
She was wrong
Charlotte's
about abortion too. She tried
on the
to
abortion. Yeah,
Trump is actually a social liberal, in my opinion. He don't
yeah,
care about that stuff. He said the reason I wanted to get rid of Roe versus Wade was to let the states decide. I want to
yeah,
empower the people. I don't want the federal government involved in this.
yeah,
I'm fine with that. anytime the people in power want to give up some of their power, I'm always going to support that. Give
Of
it up.
course.
Now, here's another thing I'm gonna throw out here, and this is where Trump has gone into hostile territory and done interviews,
Yeah.
at least two that I can think of. The most recent being the NABJ, because I don't know why they didn't have any male representation on that panel, but that's a different story. I've
Hmm.
yet to see her go to Fox News or sit down with someone, Tucker Carlson, who's independent now.
Yep.
She's not talking with anyone who opposes what she's trying to do, and that's a concern for me too.
Yeah.
Because if she does win, you're not just the Democrats' president anymore. You're everybody's president. Just like
Yes.
we have to show respect for the position, whether we like her or not. She has to somehow find some way to unify this greatest country in the world that's more divided than it's ever been.
Yeah.
So, and I think a part of that includes talking with people who don't like you or don't agree with you.
Yeah.
She's yet to do that.
Yeah, and for the people that want to say Trump is, evil or whatever ad hominem attack they want to put on him, Trump never goes after the liberal voters or anything. He never has, thrown some insult their way. But majority of the surrogates for the Democrats, they're always going after MAGA. I'm like, that's still half the country. You guys are
Yeah.
going to have to figure out a way to bridge the gap, and it's not going to be a conversation like you spent 365 days. Let's say Kamala does win. All of a sudden, okay, guys, now we're going to really like shake hands and hug and stuff like that. No, you have been throwing insults after insults, going after MAGA. Biden did it first, or Biden was doing it as well. And then anyone that's on the the mainstream media, they've always been doing it. So as much as people want to get mad at people that are supportive of Donald Trump or conservatives, at the end of the day, these are still Americans that deserve to have their voices. I mean, regardless of how they think, they deserve to be represented as well too. And so you got to find the middle, the ground. I mean, the thing with Trump's presidency, I think is probably one of the best presidencies, is that he took care of everybody. Like his policies protected the country, the tariffs. I mean, people made more money. The HBCUs were protected. They got additional funding that they didn't have to go back and request more funding, which I didn't know they were even doing that. But that gets lost on HBCU nowadays because now they're, repping Kamala and everything like they're going to be her savior. But there's a lot of things that Trump did that was just great for everyone versus just, hey, I'm just going to these specialty groups, they're going to get all this attention, especially anyone doing anything for illegal immigrations. I got problems with them. I'm always going to have problems with them.
Yeah, that's an issue for me. Let me add on to this real quick. The First Step Act and the work that he was starting to do with the opportunity zones
Oh
would
yeah.
have been very beneficial for everyone as well, including the Black people who seem to be struggling with voting red.
Yeah.
But I was also going to say that, man, I don't know how November is going to go. I really don't. But what I do know is no matter what the result is, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people, and whoever wins is going to need to be ready to hit the ground and deal with that ASAP.
Yeah. Honestly, the people that I think people want to say it's going to be the MAGA supporters. No, it's not. It's the only thing that people, the media, and like just random people, just normies, the only thing that they have is this January 6th, what happened there, and Charlottesville. And Charlottesville was like almost, I mean, actually, I forget how long ago Charlottesville was, but it was at least 5 years ago. So however long it was, but I mean, it's during 5 or 6 years ago. So it's been a while. But after that, I mean, you got to go further. We have multiple examples of people on the left when Trump won the office. There was the march on Washington by the pink cat ladies or whatever it was. And they had their sit-ins, and then you had politicians saying, "Hey, when they changed when they overturned Roe v. Wade, and everyone lost their damn mind, and it was like, hey, go sit in front of these justices' homes and let your voices be heard." Like that could have easily went a different way. So whenever it comes to like worrying about these big elections, it's generally on the left. That's why these businesses, especially in these blue states, they're going to be boarding up their businesses because when they see that Trump's going to win, and I think it's going to be honest, I want to say it's going to be a landslide, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I definitely believe Trump is definitely going to win because this debate was supposed to be, and actually getting back to the original question about the debate, I think Kamala didn't do enough. I don't think she did enough to distance from Biden. I don't think she, she came across as like a believable because the whole gun thing, like, I mean, that honestly, Trump should have been like, seriously, what gun do you have? Like, what you and Tim Walz are gun owners. Okay, what guns do you guys have? And then Kamala was
That would have
talking
been a
about,
great question to ask because
yeah,
I don't believe her.
yeah, no, nobody believes her. And it's funny how, she's talking about nobody's going to take any guns, but when she was campaigning, before she got booted out because she didn't win any primaries, she was talking about not but she was talking about like banning firearms, but it was like more like assault rifles or something like that, something related to that though. But how she's going to go about it, how she's going to do it. I mean, she's still talking about door to door, going to your homes or trying to find or create a registry for something like this, which is we definitely don't need anything like that going on.
Hey, I want to go back to something you said earlier because it was a
Mhm.
clutch point. You talked about businesses suffering in blue states.
Mhm.
Let's look at California, her state.
Yeah,
Earlier this year, State Farm Insurance announced, "We out, we're done, we're not
yeah,
messing with y'all no
deuces.
more." That everybody, when your policy expires, you're done, and that was
Yeah,
specifically because of left-leaning policies that were enacted. They tried to
yeah,
cap how much they could charge people, while the number of claims that they had to pay out an issue were on the rise.
yeah,
What did you think was going to happen? Like, look, I'm trying not to be too biased one way or the other, but all I can see is what's thrown in front of my face.
yeah,
And we've lived through both. We lived through a Biden administration, which, by the way, they knew he was not competent enough to have this job, and they hid
yeah.
it from us and tried to disguise it.
That
So
question
now I'm
should have
looking
been
at
asked.
that should have been asked. I wanted to
Mhm.
specifically hear her say, "How will you be different from him?" And why all these things that you say you want to do, you're not doing them now. That question was asked. She
Yeah,
didn't answer it.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, especially the firearm question. I found out that David, the dude on there, the moderator, he actually had an interview when Kamala was doing her primary thing. She was talking about talking about banning, certain firearms. He asked her that question. So why did he ask that same question in the debate? Like, hey, Kamala, we actually had this interview several years ago. How is your position? Why has your position changed now? And it's just mind blowing to me. They really did a disservice to a lot of people, and they didn't help Kamala. And case in point, the whole Haitian thing. So I know a lot of people. I mean, we see the news a little bit more than most people, I would say, but for most people, they didn't hear about this whole, cats and geese and ducks and stuff like that. Which I do believe there's some truth to it, regardless if the city manager that David tried to point out, like, hey, the city manager said it's not happening. Trump's like, okay, well, you guys are reporters, so you want to go there and do something about it and check into it. And like, nope, nope, we're good. Take the city manager who is a leaning left leaning Democrat. So there's that. But I think this kind of blew up in their faces though, because now it shines a spotlight on where these Haitian immigrants are being sent to, which they're being sent to. And I know you're going to think this is crazy. So Ohio, which you already knew, but they're also being sent to Tennessee, and they're being sent to Florida and Texas. Okay, and well, Texas is obvious just because Texas gets everybody apparently,
yeah.
even though they're trying to get rid of everyone. But this is the crazy thing. So I went down this rabbit hole. How many Republicans do you think have um, won the presidency without winning Florida or Texas or Tennessee or Ohio?
Without winning those,
Yeah, without winning those.
you need Texas if you're a Republican.
Yeah. So yeah,
So I'm going to say zero.
yeah, it's zero.
Yeah.
So if you have these, and with this whole temporary, it's called TPS or something. I don't know it's temporary something something. But with this program in play, the government, which was started by George W. Bush, when I looked into it, um, it was one of the Bushes, but I'm terrible at this. But when it comes to like that program when it started, it was started by a Bush, And then you fast forward to how it's being implemented today. I mean, I feel like it's being weaponized because if you want to change a state from red to blue, this is the blueprint because you can't win those. A Republican president cannot win those states at all.
Arizona's been red for a long time, but it goes blue occasionally. And right now
Yeah.
we have a Democratic governor who I've actually met personally. She's actually pretty reasonable and easy to work with. But
Yeah.
we also have in the Senate, both of those seats are filled by Democrats, and we've got some very
Right
intense
now.
elections going on down here right now because a lot of people still consider Arizona a purple state, but that's going to be another state that's going through what you just talked about as well. I do want to say this as well. I got to get this off my chest. I try to be as tolerant as I can with people's political beliefs and views, but I have a lot of smoke for single issue voters. I think you all are destroying society. I think you're intellectually lazy and disingenuous. Single issue voters, do better. Think more outside of just that one little issue that you care about and look at the whole platform of what the party or the candidates want to do. But get them out of here, man. I'm so sick of single issue voters. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, about single issue voters because, well, the one thing about these single issue voters, they they're prioritizing the wrong things, like the whole abortion thing. The whole abortion conversation is a moot point, which Kamala brought up. Like this was like a bar for a lot of people. The whole abortion thing, it's a moot point though because she doesn't have the votes in the House. She doesn't have the votes in the Senate. She doesn't have enough votes to create a national ban. And so when they're asking Trump about, a national ban or would he veto it or anything like that, it's never going to come to fruition. It's never going to reach his desk. It's
Yeah,
impossible. And well, I won't say it's impossible, but they don't have enough votes to get that pushed through. And why would you want why would you want to like a national ban or why would you want to have an abortion? I mean, yeah, I guess it'd be a national ban, but I mean, why would you want anything like that though? Because there are voters in this country that I mean, the women that everybody says believe all women, listen to all women, you know, they, their votes matter too. And they are, we're going to listen to their voices. They have a voice, and I don't want a national ban on abortion. Conversations like that, or make abortion legal. Like the women there's women on both sides, and you're telling people like, hey, we're not, just federal bans regardless of what state you live in. No, get involved with your state, get them to vote the right people in, and you got a problem solved.
yeah, man. While you were saying that, I just looked up the split in just the House of Dems versus Republicans. Yeah, you're right. It'll never make it through the
Yeah,
House.
very thin margins. And even
Yeah,
if you do get it, get it past that first stage, like some way, somehow, something crazy happens, it's gonna be stuck in purgatory, the court system for like a generation or two. It's never gonna
yeah,
move. So
yeah.
regardless of if they try to pack the courts or whatever they're trying to do, it's never gonna get off. It's never gonna get off. It's never gonna see the light of day.
If it can
Yeah.
somehow get through the House and get to the Senate, there's a shot, but no way it's getting through the House. I
No.
mean, it's 221 to 213
Yeah.
Republicans in the
Especially.
House.
Yeah, even on like even if they were like you don't even have enough Democrats that will vote for it. So there's really not enough votes to go around, and that's the problem with a lot of these voters is that they don't understand that you're never going to get a national ban on it. Like
Yeah,
or a national ban will never happen. Like, he won't veto it because it'll never get to that level. So
which
for
is what he
folks,
said, and he was right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
he said that multiple times, and they just acted like, "Up, no big deal." They just let Kamala just lie about it, but you know,
Yeah.
one of those things. But one thing that did come up that we haven't touched on. Oh, and then I guess to wrap it all up, maybe I wasn't clear earlier. I think Trump. I don't think Trump had anything to lose, but he definitely could have did some knockouts with Kamala, like he did with Joe Biden. However, I think this is the one thing. This is the one criticism I have with Trump. He actually might be too trusting, because we saw with and in most cases he does outshine those situations. But when he went to the National Black Journalists, I don't know if he thought it was going to be an ambush, because he said he thought Kamala was going to be there, and she wasn't there. So anytime Trump is going to a place that's not Fox News, it's always hostile. Just consider it hostile, and do your best. And then he went on there to the ABC, and I wish he had like really fired back at some of these the moderators, because I mean, if we're picking it up, he surely is picking up. But I just don't know why he didn't fire back on him, because I know he knows his stuff. I mean, he's been debating crazily for somebody that's not been in government like that. He's been killing in debates though, but I'm not saying he was tame, but I really would have loved to see him like fire back on some of these things with Kamala said, and then the moderators are debating him, and he did do it for a little bit, but there were some certain situations like I said with the whole gun thing. Like, come on, everybody knows Kamala ain't got no gun. And then when she said the fine people on both sides alluded to this, that rhetoric that Trump's racist and he's standing with Proud Boys, blah blah blah. That's already been debunked. That's already been by left-leaning sources. Has been debunked. And they didn't fact check. They didn't say anything. He had to do their jobs and fact check Kamala. And then when they would ask Kamala about something, then they're like asking Kamala's question to Trump. It's like, come on, man, that's not how a debate's supposed to be going. But the one thing that's that came up that's actually I don't want to say it's true yet, because we're still finding out about it, but the whistleblower that Kamala got a heads up on the questions.
Yeah.
So let me.
The only person who seems to be going after that is Elon, apparently. Why you pulling that up though? Let me ask you this: if you were in Trump's shoes, would you want a second debate, or would you just say, "Nah, we good and keep it moving"?
So.
And does your answer change if you're in Kamala's shoes?
All right, so considering how everything's turning out, because originally when I walked away from it, I'm like, man, Trump left a little bit on the table, but I wanted to see him like just blow it out of the water. And so after a few days, after looking at like some of the results, Kamala didn't get that boost in voter support like she normally did. She had to like knock it out of the park. I wanted Trump to end Kamala's presidency right there, like he did with Biden. So he didn't do that, but I mean, he did enough. Like once we figured out, like the moderators were on the take, I was like, okay, I can give him a little bit of slack there. But I don't know if I would even do a third debate. And if I did do a third debate, here's what Kamala should do. So I'll take Kamala's point of view. If I'm Kamala, I would go to Fox News. I would do a sit-down interview with them, go to Fox News and say, like, look, I don't know why Trump is running, but hey, I'll do the debate. If she did that, then Trump would have to do
the debate. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. Say like, hey, and he can set the terms. I don't think Kamala will ever do it, but that's all she really has to do. Just say she'll go to Fox News, but I don't think she will, just because this whole thing with the getting the questions. And so if she did get the questions, then we got a whole bigger problem, because, Democrats have shown a history of trying to, help their candidates out. So, and so this is stuff this is an affidavit by this guy. So I follow this guy, but I don't know, like, I don't want to say this is 100% true, because we're still finding out about it. But just like the same thing with Donna Brazile, where she gave the questions to Hillary Clinton, we didn't find out for what, I want to say maybe a week or two.
Not only Donna Brazile, but I think her name was Deborah Wasserman Schultz, who was the DNC chair at the time, because I remember that was the exact same year that they kind of did some shenanigans with the Bernie Sanders campaign.
Yeah.
It's right around that same time.
Yeah.
So Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I said Donna. Yeah.
Yeah. So you still got this stuff going on where And I'm not going to read all through all this stuff though, but if people want to, take a look, just this guy's name is Doc Net YouTube. Um, take a look at this stuff, because if this affidavit is to be true, and considering like everything that's already happened with the Democrats and what they're willing to do, like nothing's off the table for them. There's no line for them. Actually, they've already tried to put Trump behind bars. They've tried to throw all these convictions out of him, and they constantly are just saying this crazy rhetoric that puts his life,
Teflon Don.
yeah, exactly. That's putting his family in jeopardy, his life, and I don't know where they're going to. I mean, if Trump doesn't get in office, they're not going to stop. So he definitely has to get in the office, and he's got to, he's got to get some of the trash out, take some of the trash out, and also change some laws too, because this is crazy how this stuff is happening. But yeah, so if this turns out to be true that she got the questions ahead of time, like I mean, there was two theories that were floating out there. One is she got the questions, which I think most people thought, but then the whole earrings thing, which I mean, it's possible, but I don't think she'd be that. I just don't think she'd be. I just don't think she. I really want to say I don't think she's smart enough to do the earrings thing, but at the end of the day, I just don't think. I think that's too far fetched right now. But this whole documents thing, this is definitely something in the Democrat playbook. Like this is like day one type of stuff.
Also, it looks like the VP debate is going to be October 1st, and CBS has that one. So I'm actually looking forward to that too. Get to know.
Yeah. We actually probably could live stream that too. So we'll work out the details. But yeah, any final thoughts on the debate?
I just want to say to the people, and I know I'm talking to a large group of people, if you don't like either candidate, put that to the side and look at what policies they want to enact and vote on which ones align with your life.
Yeah.
Because most people don't like either one, but here we are. You can vote third party too. That's an option. I don't knock people that go third party, but I say just look at what they want to do, what policy they want to enact, see how that aligns with your life, make your decision. All I ask is that you do your own thinking. Voting for somebody because your mama or your grandmama did it is not acceptable anymore. Time to stand on your own.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I definitely second that too, because for the longest time, I always thought I was, raised one way, and that's the way I've been taught. And, from just looking at stuff on the media, all the propaganda that's put out there, once you break from it, like either you go independent, which I think for some people it might go independent, but they really just don't want to say they're Democrat in public, like Stephen A. Like, oh, even Tez Figaro. I mean, she says she's independent, but she does a lot of work with the Dems. So there's that. But yeah, people just gotta just look at like how your life was 4 years ago, and how is it going for currently right now, and then how's that working out for all these states. We shouldn't be hearing about illegals coming into the country, or this. I mean, and especially with the Haitians, like they can be pretty much put anywhere, and if you're in a red state, they're probably going to come to your state here soon. So
yeah,
craziness. All right, let's switch to a fun topic.
yeah. Let's have some